Hi YouTubers, this is Michael Evans with Amazing Last Days, and today I'm doing a different kind of video than I've done before. I'm going to show you about survival food or salad ingredients, whichever you prefer. You can go to Walmart and buy these large-mouthed mason jars. They're a little less than $1 a piece if you buy a box of a dozen of them. You need to get at least a couple of dozen, maybe twice that many per person. And Walmart also sells this plastic grid. They sell it in sheets, and you can take the lid that comes with the jar and trace out the outline, cut it on the outside, and they fit perfect inside the lid. And that way, you get air, and you can pour water out of the jar and water it without taking the lid off and on every time. And what I'm using today is black oil sunflower seeds, and you strictly use organic black oil sunflower seeds. They're a few pennies for a cup this size, which is about probably a third of a regular cup. It's enough to more than fill the bottom of the jar, and that's enough to, in 6 days, it'll be full and wanting to come out of the top. It's a completely full meal. If you start one of these every day, you've got enough to feed 2 people at least one good meal every day. You can store these seeds by the ton, and it doesn't cost that much. If you get canned goods, it costs a whole lot more. Canned goods is a good way to go if you're going to go for a few months worth of food. If you're going to go beyond that, if you want to, and you only have so much space, well, then seeds are an excellent way to survive. And I'm not talking about, you're not going to have gourmet food. You're not going to have cheeseburgers and a lasagna. You're not going to have something that tastes off the chart 5-star great. You've got something that will fill your belly with nutrition, with vitamins and fiber and protein, and you'll live. So you can use this for survival, and it works really good. There's a lot of seeds that do work. We'll cover later, another time, other seeds. But basically what you're doing is you're using salad ingredients for the most part, and you're sprouting the seeds. And they're very, very nutritious. They're a lot more nutritious for the first probably 6 to 8 days, or even up to 2 weeks. Much more than they are if you let them completely mature and you eat the fruit from it. So, okay, this is day 1. What you do is you take your jar, you scoop out a measure of seeds. Let's call this 4 tablespoonfuls. It works. Cover the bottom of the jar about that much. You don't have to measure anything. You don't have to weigh anything. Put the lid back on, and let's go to the sink. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to fill this completely to the top with water, because the seeds float. And you want to soak these seeds for at least 4 to 6 hours. I just soak mine overnight. I put them in before I go to bed. It's completely full. The top holds the seeds down, and they absorb water, they soften, and they begin to sprout after about 6 or 8 hours. And you just leave them there till morning. It's over 8 hours, it won't hurt them. You get up in the morning, and you just pour the water out. And I'll show you that in a minute. I'll show you day 2 when we come back. Okay, here we are with day 2, and you can see the watercolor is dark, it's brown, and what we do is we take the jar over to the sink, and we pour all this water out, completely pour it out, and you fill it twice with clean water. About half full, fine. Slosh it around gently. Pour the water out. Refill it. Twice is plenty, as long as the water's good and clean. And that's what you're doing. You're watering your seeds with fresh water. You're getting all the impurities, the fungus, the mold, and whatever else can be in there. Anything that you might have a problem with, you don't allow it. You're cleaning it out and watering the seeds. Let it drain pretty good. There's plenty of water, and that's day 2. Okay, here we are back again. It's about day 4. I don't split hairs on it. I just go by what it looks like it needs. These are growing pretty quickly, and you can see the if I roll it around a bit, you can see that they've grown quite a bit. Got a lot of growth in there. Now, if you wanted to, you could wash these off, pick the black holes off of them, and eat them right now. They're very nutritious, very good for you. But you get a lot more food out of it, I find, that if you let it go for about 6 to 8 days. And it will, what I'd really go by is when it's so full that it just wants to come out of the top, they're done. Take the lid off, you're going to have a little trouble getting them out. So this is about a little over day 2 right here. And every day, twice a day, in other words, about every 12 hours, if you can remember to do it, you water just like I showed you. You pour water in, you slosh it around, you pour it out. You pour water in, you slosh it around, you pour it out. And then you lay it down and you leave it alone for another 12 hours. So that's it until day 4. And we're back with day 6. Quite a bit of growth. Every 12 hours we water. They grow so fast you can almost see them grow. It's amazing. There's a lot of good food in here. And, you know, some people cover them up. I don't see any need if you're growing them like this, and I'll show you another way on another video. You do need to cover them up for maybe as many as 7 days, 8 days, maybe even a little longer. And then the last 2 to 3 days you can let them have some sunshine. It keeps the taste nutty. They don't turn green. And when they turn green, they get a little bitter taste, a little bitter. They're still nutty, but they're a little bitter. I prefer the lack of bitter taste. And so if you're going to make a salad out of it, it's fine. If you're going to just eat them by themselves, you probably don't want to expose them to a whole lot of sunlight. So this is a little more than 6 days, and it's almost done. We'll give it 2 more days growth. Every 12 hours, we pour the water in, we slosh it around, pour it out. Pour the water in, slosh it around, pour it out, and let it sit for 12 more hours. Do the same thing again. So we'll be back in just a second with day 6. Okay, and we're back at day 6. And boy, did these things grow good. It's just about aching to get out of there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to water them one more time. I mean, it's full almost completely to the top. You can see up in there. And this is really about 6.5 days growth. Sometimes you'll get this much growth in 4 days. And I'm not quite sure what makes the difference, but you'll see the roots, and these are very much alive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to water them one last time today, and I'm going to let them go till evening, and that's it. I'm going to pour the water out. I'm going to let them sit until say about dark, and then I'll process them. And all that amounts to is I'll pour water in it one more time and shake it pretty hard and try to loosen these holes out so I don't have to pull them off. And then I'll put them in a bowl. I'll pick all the holes, which is kind of laborious, but it's worth it. They're delicious. They're high in protein, high in fiber, lots of vitamins, lots of nutrition. They taste okay. If you put a little salad dressing on them, they taste really good. Put your favorite salad dressing a little bit, and you've got something in your stomach. Now, if you start one of these every day and you've got 2 people in your household, you're going to live a long time off of these. You can store these seeds for a very long time, keep them dry, and they're very light. You can have lots and lots of seeds in a very small area. A few buckets, I would say 3 to 4 buckets, and you could literally live a year and a half or more. So just this, as far as having something on your stomach every day. And then if you add it to other things, you're going to have to get water. You're going to have clean water for yourself and for the plants. And it doesn't hurt to have something else to eat. But I'm just saying, if you are in a real pinch, this will keep you alive for a long time. And you can get used to cutting back to 1 meal a day. And if you've got something to add to it, if you've got canned goods stored up, you can mix this with your canned goods and stretch out your 6-month supply to a year and a half to 2 years. It's possible. And so it's something to keep in mind when people are talking about food shortages and famines and the possibility of nuclear war. And it sounds like fear-mongering, but man, I'm hearing it on television. And if you're watching the news, you're hearing it too. I don't know if you're paying attention or not. But it doesn't hurt to have seeds stored up along with your canned goods. And I've found that freeze-dried foods, there's just no point. The bugs and the mice will get in there and tear those packages up, and you can lose them pretty easy. Where a canned good, you could have a flood, and all you got to do is just clean those cans off, pop the top, as long as it didn't overheat and the can's not swollen. It's probably okay to eat, and you won't lose your food that way. Canned goods is just the way to go. And it's inexpensive. It doesn't cost an arm and a leg like freeze-dried food does. So I think it's better all the way around. And you can go past your expiration date. They don't cancel out on that day. They just are possibly less nutritious. They start to go downhill. But they're not bad necessarily. They just don't have as much nutrition after a certain date. So you can have an expiration date on a can that says the year 2000, and 5, 8, 10 years later, if that can's in good shape, you can still eat that food, and it's food on your stomach. It just has less nutritional value. So that's about it for today. And I tried to keep it down to 15 minutes. I'm pretty close. So anyway, that's a little survival tip. And if nothing else, it's just good for salad. These things are delicious. And we'll cover other seeds. These are the easiest ones. So you really can't mess these up. As long as you wash them and water them every 12 hours or so, give or take a little. And if you miss a whole day, they should be fine as long as you've got them in a shady area and they're not too hot. So you don't have to split hairs with it, and you'll still get good food out of it. So that's it for today. Hope you liked it. Hope you got something out of it. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment. Thank you.